to the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Off the Mats podcast. This week on the podcast, I am welcoming Brazilian Jiu Jitsu Black Belt. I had to say that slowly like that because I started tripping on my words, so please don't judge me. I don't have a speech impediment. Brazilian Jiu Jitsu Black Belt, all the way from Kansas. I think this might be my first guest from Kansas, and I got a very, very good friend who lives in Kansas, and I've never had them on the show, so that's messed up. But I want to welcome to the show Mr. RJ Navarette. What's up, RJ? How you feeling, man?
What's up? I'm just happy to be here. It's been a pleasure and honor getting to know you a little bit, and I'm excited to be on the podcast, man.
Thank you for making the time to do this. You know, I follow you on Instagram, and I repost some of your techniques and everything, and I was like, man, I gotta get this dude on the show. Let's chat with him. We talked in the DMs a little bit. I was like, yeah, like let me see what this is gonna be like. But as I was explaining to you off air, you know, I do my little Instagram spying and shit. And sometimes I do that and I get too deep and I'm like, fuck, I don't want this person on the show. Like, I'm nervous. They're too serious. So as I'm like digging through yours, it's like, oh no, he seems cool. He seems legit. All right, we're going to do this. And then once we got talking, I was correct. So let's go. So with jiu-jitsu and everything for you, because that's what we're here about. We're here about jiu-jitsu. What started you on that journey?
So when let me preface it, right? So I've always been a super small guy. I mean, you can tell from the videos, I'm a very short, very, very small statured man. It is what it is. I've come to terms with it. I may buy a big truck at some point to compensate. I don't know. But no, I've just always been a small guy. I always get the crap kicked out of me, but I've always had a really smart mouth. I love making jokes. I love making crackbacks at people. But that obviously gets you beat up. I may have gotten a swirly a time or two in the 90s. It is what it is.
It was the 90s.
Yeah, I mean that was normal at that point, right? Now they call it assault. Um, but I had a pretty rough upbringing. You know, I was a trailer park trash kid and used to get the crap kicked out of me a lot. So I don't know. I turned up to about 16 is when I started training at this little gym. Never had the money to train before that, and I jumped in to this gym one day just trying to learn like some boxing, some Muay Thai, and then I started looking over and seeing these dudes like submitting the crap out of each other on the side, and I was like, that guy looks like he's gonna die, and that kid's half his size. How's that work? And I was like, I have to learn this power, and so that was pretty much the gist of it. I never stopped, and I just kept going and pushing through with it.
Well, and as you see, continuing and pushing through, you get you the black belt, and that's what us lower belts need to understand. There's always the talk about blue belts quitting, and hey, man, a lot of white belts quit too. Don't put all that shit on blue belts.
It's true.
But a lot of white belts be quitting too, and I know some purple belts that left. So don't act like they don't do it either. But you're proof. You keep rolling, keep going.
Oh yeah, and not quitting is probably one of the hardest things you're gonna do when you get in this sport, right? Because you're gonna find the guys. You're gonna find the guys who are prior wrestlers. You're gonna find the guys who this clicks with, like those little prodigy shitheads. I love them, but fuck those kids. They come in and their brain works different, and it just clicks with jujitsu. And you're gonna find these guys who they start, they're on their first week. You've been here for 2 years, and they're subbing the shit out of you and making you look bad in front of the professor. It's gonna happen.
Hopefully, professor understands, like, look, that doesn't diminish your ability. That doesn't diminish like what I know about you. Just understand that kid just fucked you up in front of me, and I am judging a little bit.
He just gives you a little side eye.
It's like, and we all feel it too. We all know it. It's just like, look, I'm gonna go out to my car real quick and get another mouthpiece. Meanwhile, I'm sitting in the car crying.
I mean, listen, sometimes you gotta cry out them frustrations, and you puke and rally.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it. You got to just keep going. So, when you came into it, off of striking, learning Muay Thai, learning boxing, and then you got that curiosity. What was the feeling when you stepped onto that mat for the first time to grapple?
Uh, that was a weird moment for me because I always thought, that especially being as small as I was, getting my butt kicked most of my life, that you get your ass beat enough, you get immune to getting punched in the face. Really, you do. I mean,
Yeah.
I get kicked in the head, punched in the face. Dudes be jumping and doing the little everybody throws punches at the same time while I'm in the fetal position crying, wondering why did I say that? Why did I say that?
It sounds so familiar to me.
Why did my
Fuck.
mouth get my ass beat? I don't understand. They aren't even the same body part. And you run through that enough times, you really do get a tolerance for getting hit that it's just like, all right, well, I might as well do something with this tolerance now. So you go out there and start, striking. And I do love striking. It's actually where I started. It's kind of the home for me. But when I got onto the mat and I thought, yeah, man, I'm tough. I mean, these guys are gonna throw whatever they can at me, whatever. There's no immunity for getting choked out. There's no immunity for that. You go out, you go out. Like you're gonna go to Valhalla and wake up, and you're gonna be like, what was that? There's no immunity for arm bars. There's no immunity for Kimuras. So it was a different world, but I was super excited because it was one of those places where you can find that the small guy really can just whoop wholesale ass on bigger guys. Everybody's got a neck.
True. I think what was it? Was it Haleo Gracie? Said no one's immune to the choke. No one's too tough for a choke. So
That's true.
you know, the I've had my fair share of being choked. Although I have a weird stocky neck, so it's sometimes tough to get there.
Yep.
But once someone's there, oh, I'm terrified of them. People trying to you know get me in a triangle. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna hang out here. But as soon as it happens, I'm like, fuck. It's like, do I try to figure out this guy? And it's like, well, why don't I just not get stuck in that triangle? There's that. But
Yeah, with me, I got once again smaller guy. I got a proportionally small neck, right? And it's it's not so often that I do get choked out, but when I do, like I welcome that. I'll just walk through it. And the reason why is because my first time getting choked out was by a guy that was in my old gym. He's super great. I think he might have had a little bit of autism. He was just super smart. He's really bad with people. Super smart. Really bad
my
with
kind
people
of
though.
person,
Yeah,
love it.
exactly. And but he just wanted to experiment. That's something that me and him had like in common is we wanted to experiment with jujitsu all the time with submissions and how we ran through things. And this kid put me out, and I'd always been afraid of being put out. And I remember I woke up after like 8 seconds of being out, and I woke up and I was like, that was the most refreshing feeling I've ever had in my entire life. And I was like, that if that's what being going out is like I'm gonna do this every day. Don't do that. It's bad for your brain. Just so everybody. Disclaimer.
There's a teammate of mine. He like I always called him my rival because we kind of started at the same time. It's like Triple H and The Rock in WWF back in the day. They grew together. They had great matches together, and they built off of each other and became stars together. And that's how I looked at this teammate. And one day, he got a bow and arrow on me, and I fancy myself being really good at protect myself against a bow and arrow. I was never worried. In competition, the guy had me in a deep bow and arrow. Well, so they thought it was a deep bow and arrow. Probably was trash, but I thought it was a threat. But I was just chilling, you know, giving my coach the thumbs up, like, "No, I'm good." um, but my teammate did it in practice, and here I am again, thinking I'm good. I'm not worried about this dude. I ain't scared. And he, kind of adjusted just a little bit, and all of a sudden my hands started feeling funny, and the room started getting a little cloudy, and then I got this weird tingle in my shoulders. And fortunately, I had a good sense that I might be going out. Let me tap before I can't tap. And It was like right on the doorstep. And I tapped and I looked and I was like, dude, I was pretty close to going out. I'm gonna chill for a minute. I sat out the next 2 rows. I was like, I'm not sure how to feel. It wasn't that, there was no like embarrassment or none of that. It was more like, am I gonna be okay?
Yeah, no, 100%. Have you actually gone out?
I have not. Like I've gotten to that point 3 different times. It's almost like like when you're a kid and they tell you don't touch something, you want to test the waters, but you don't want to go all the way into the water. So you get close enough just to fucking piss your parents off. That was me with chokes. It's like I get close enough just to know that maybe if I do this, I'm gonna get my ass beat. So let's not continue. And but I haven't gone completely out
Yeah,
yet.
it's a different beast, honestly. So, because I hate when I get close to going out, but I don't go out because I always end up with the head throbbing. I end up with
Mhm.
my fingers and arms feeling like jelly. I feel like everything just sucks. I feel like my neck is super like weak and I can't do anything. But every time I've ever actually gone out, which I think has been like 3 times now, um, like I always wake up and it's like, woo, let's go. I don't know what it is. It's like all the adrenaline, I think, gets stopped at your arteries, right? And then they're slowly starting to open up because the inside of the arteries are sticky. And I feel
Yeah.
like you finally are starting to get all that adrenaline. And once it opens up, it just surges into your brain, and you're just like, bro, let's go. Biggest guy in the room and the other guy. Let's go. Same time. I ain't afraid.
So I feel that way after I get my ass kicked. Like, and I think part of it is this overcompensation. It's like if I get my ass kicked by like one of the smaller guys in the room, after that ass beating, I'm like, bring me the biggest dude now.
Yep.
And he beats my ass too. But the ideal in my head is, nah, we doing this. We going to war. I'm gonna show you. I ain't a punk. Oh, okay, there I am, neon belly. Fuck.
But at least when it
Yeah.
comes from a bigger guy, you feel justified, right? But when it comes from a guy that's like half your size and like, you're like, damn it.
Like, I think there's a weird thing in my head though. Like when there's a smaller guy, there's almost this thing of like he's beat my ass, and it's like I make this excuse in my head, like I mean, I just can't grab him though. He's small. He's too little. I can't. He faster than me. That's all. The big dude is like I'm a big dude too, so I'm like, nah. I should be able to get some kind of a footing on this dude. So when the smaller guy beat my ass, it's like fuck. All right, well, this is life though. I'm cool with it. Let me go beat this big dude's ass. Then the big dude beat my ass. I'm like, you know, I wasn't bad at basketball. Like I can always go back. I mean, I'm 45 now, so maybe my knees won't be feeling that. So that's why I stay with jiu-jitsu because I'm old.
See, I'm lucky enough that I'm always the small guy. Like I don't really usually have to worry about there being a smaller guy because I'm getting smaller than 5'4" and 150 pounds. That's pretty hard.
Like, yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's almost kind of like wearing a crown at that point. It's like, look, I'm the smallest dude in here, but I will fuck most of you cats up. So just understand that. And then somebody else smaller comes in. It's like, ah, man, I don't know how to feel because this dude's small as shit too, and I know how I feel being small. Does this dude have as much confidence? Then as soon as you beat his ass, like, nah, but we got to build him up.
Oh no, I'll tell you, there's a dude that's at our gym right now. His name's Marcelino. He's a little bit smaller than me. He's a purple belt, solid dude, great work. The only person that genuinely makes me like my game is very solid. I've got a long time to build it, but he makes me very uncomfortable in places that I'm normally comfortable, and it's because the places that most big guys get
Oh,
stuck in, he doesn't get stuck, and so I'm like, oh no. So it gives me a little bit of a panic attack sometimes, but it's good. He's a solid worker.
good, good. So when you started Immortal MMA and Jiu Jitsu, what was that like? What kind of prompted that for you?
So I've always been told that I've got a really unique style of grappling. It's something I've kind of prided myself on. I used to take it personally at my gym previously to meeting the amazing Marcio Laselva. But at my gym previously, it was they just cranked out MMA fighters, great fighters. Coach was a pretty cool dude. We had some issues or whatever, but he used to, I'd take weird submissions from weird places. I love creative submissions. I love submissions that nobody sees coming. That's my entire ideology. My entire ideology is, if everybody throws the exact same armbar and everybody throws the exact same escape for that armbar, at some point it's just going to become who trained that armbar better, right? But if you've never seen a special kind of armbar that I just made up last night, then how are you going to defend it? Then it becomes a battle of wits. It becomes of who's more intelligent, who can crack the other person faster. You know what I mean? And I started getting a lot of comments and a lot of just feedback from people, and especially from, once again, my mentor, Marcio Laselva. He kind of came at me. He's like, nobody I've ever met in my 25 years of doing this does things the way you do it. And he's like, you need to teach this. You need to put it out there. And so, once I started putting it out there and I started seeing that just a couple of guys that I'd kind of invest all of these little special moves in, well, I started noticing these guys were fucking guys up every day. I mean, they'd catch them in weird places, the little white belts going against purple belts, and I'm like, maybe there is something to this. Maybe I should try to at least put a little bit of my knowledge out there, whether it's good, whether it's bad. I mean, they can sort that out themselves later on. All I know is what works for me, and that's where Immortal kind of had its birthplace.
Nice. So, and as I mentioned in the beginning, you're out there in Kansas.
Yeah.
What's the jiu-jitsu scene out there like for you?
Honestly, you wouldn't think it, but there's actually a lot out here. So I'm in Wichita. In Kansas itself, there's not a lot of big cities. There's like Topeka, which isn't big either. I mean, you can look up these sizes later for yourselves if you'd like. If you're really that interested, I don't know why you would be, but whatever. But in Wichita, it's a pretty much a gigantic metro area, and because Kansas is so flat, it just spans like, I don't even know, miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. So if you get anywhere of height, which in Kansas is like 6 feet, you can see the whole damn city.
See, I was not wrong. My friend who lives in Hayes, I told her, I was like, you don't have skyscrapers. And she got really pissed about that. And I was like, this is a fact.
So in Wichita, we do have a couple of buildings that are big, right? But I'm pretty sure the highest is like the 26th floor. So like I wouldn't call that a skyscraper. I'd call that like a altitude tester. It's just a little bit taller than everything else. But the grappling, the MMA, like all of that, it's not bad here. It really isn't. So Caveman Rickles kind of really broadened the game out here, okay? Because Caveman Rickles came out from Derby, and then he went out to the Bellator scene and started making that big. So then he brought it, a little bit of it back here. And of course, we have a lot of aircraft maintenance and a lot of aircraft places. So a lot of the kids that were learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu back in Brazil, their parents would migrate up here to get some of these jobs that we're having. And so then it just kind of started growing. So now we've got, I think in the city, probably, I don't know, 17, 18 gyms with pretty good. I mean, each one of them probably has over 50, 60 students. And of course, the other thing that helps us out is that here in the Midwest, everybody loves them country bumpkin wrestlers. These little country boys, they love wrestling. And of course, they start seeing, wrestlers up on UFC, and they're like, where can I learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? And so it just kind of saturated the market with talent. So
All right.
it's not bad.
Yeah, I was talking with a teammate a couple episodes ago, and we brought up North Dakota, South Dakota, and Montana. And I was like, man, there's no way they have gyms up there. And as we're recording, I Googled it. I was like, holy shit. Like, there are a lot of fucking gyms up there. I didn't know it seemed like there are more gyms up there than people. Like,
No.
I'm so confused. So it's refreshing to hear, though, that everyone that I've spoken to, when I ask about the scene in their area, it's always refreshing to hear that, that there's a good flow of jiu-jitsu out there. And it's not just, some guy in a garage saying, "We do jujitsu too," and
Oh,
it's
we got
like,
plenty of those. Don't worry about that.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure McDojo Life, he makes the rounds. He's like,
Oh,
let me go find him,
oh,
put him
all
on
day,
blast.
all day. So it's crazy that you brought it up because we went. I got the opportunity, amazing opportunity, to fly out to the um, Jiu-Jitsu X headquarters out in San Diego and go hang out with those guys, Sunshine from the videos, and all those dudes. And it was crazy to me to see when I typed in. I thought it would be easy enough, just type in Jiu-Jitsu on, like, the maps,
Mhm.
and it was crazy to me to understand that there was a gym just about every block. Every block there was a gym. MMA, jiu-jitsu, grappling, boxing, and there's just all these gyms all over the place. And I'm like, I mean, in Wichita, it's kind of like everybody kind of owns a little bit of the area. We got like a
Yeah,
north side gym and a south side gym and a northwest and a northeast. And everybody kind of has their boroughs here. But in San Diego, it's like you can't throw a stone in the city without hitting a gym.
that's always been my thought about California. Just with everyone that I communicate with out there in California that does jujitsu, like I've not been to California, but you know how like in the cartoons and movies they always show like the characters ideal of what an area looks like, and it's like like someone from Eastern Europe, their vision of America, and it's like the streets are paved with gold. It's like for me California is like, oh yeah, there's like a jiu-jitsu like gym like on every corner, like next door to each other even.
Nope,
And
there
that's
is.
yeah, that's what I've been hearing. Is like, oh my god, that's true. Holy shit.
Like they have jujitsu. Like we got McDonald's. Like you open up maps and you type in grappling or MMA or jujitsu or whatever, and you're gonna get pings all over the place. In your one little block, city block, you're gonna get like 15 gyms.
It looks like the screen has chicken pox.
Literally, it's so crazy. And I was like, man, y'all are spoiled out here.
It's like where I am, there's one, two, three, four, five gyms. And I think that's really good for this little area that I'm in. It's like you go to California, there's like five gyms in that little dude. We got 15 in that little area. It's like, oh, okay. A
Um,
lot of
it,
variety.
it's so crazy, but it's so good for the sport for those, because a lot of times what I found out when I went there is a lot of times those guys go from California and they get their black belts or whatever, and then they move out to rural areas, like Kansas, like Colorado, like Nebraska, and they open up their gyms, and it's that's just amazing. I love seeing the sport grow. That's actually one of the things we're trying to do. We're trying to open an online kind of, not an academy, but just a resource for individuals who don't have you know, uh, official training available to them because they live in small towns or because it's too expensive or whatever. Like, I just love seeing the sport grow. I'm such a jujitsu nerd.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, man. It's jiu-jitsu's that thing where it's like you when you look at the sport and where it's come from and where it's at and where it's going. I mean, this is like, buy into it now, invest in, like get in now because, it's only going to keep going up.
Yep, that's exactly right.
So with Jiu-Jitsu X, what was that experience like as far as like just, putting together your video and everything, and like how was that experience?
It was kind of surreal. I'm a small town Kansas kid. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. We're gonna riff a little bit here for a second, right?
All
I
right.
I grew up south side of Wichita in this little broken ass down trailer park. And I lived on a street called Hydraulic. And if you're from Wichita area, you definitely know what Hydraulic is. But Hydraulic is just a long line of trailer parks. That's all it is. And they get worse the no, lower the numbers go. And so me and my grandma, we were living we didn't have 2 pennies to scrape together. And we had literal trees growing in through the bottom of our trailer, and it was gross, man. It was bad. And to go from that to this this sweet lady, this sweet chick hitting me up on Instagram saying, "Hey, how would you like to come film a course for us? We'll fly you out there. We'll take care of your food. We'll take care of your hotel stay. Like giving me the royal treatment, sending me a driver, sending me all these different things." And I was just like, "What?" And getting to see the stomping grounds of Keenan Cornelius and his crew, and it's just that was crazy. So they set me up. They hit me up at, I don't want to say 3 p.m. after work one day, and they said, "Hey, we would really like you to come out here and film a course." I was like, "A course?" And they were like, "Yeah, put together some of your favorite moves and send them out to us, and we'll get you plane tickets. We'll get the whole 9 yards. And for anybody who buys it'll be a 50-50 split. It'll 50% will go to you and 50% will go to us just for hosting and filming." And I was like, "Wow, that's crazy." And I don't even think I checked it to see like if I've made any money on it. To be honest with you, I was just honored that I got to go out there and do it. So there might be a lot of money in there waiting. I don't know, but but it was awesome. And Sunshine from the videos, he's a very cool guy. He's funny. He's very meek. Like he's just kind of go with the flow. You could tell he's done it a billion times with all these big name guys. So it was really meeting a small town kid from Kansas wasn't anything, but it was awesome, man. Honestly, those are some good guys. And if you get the opportunity to go out to Jiu Jitsu X and see some of the stuff they got out there, it's awesome.
I'm sure it was probably refreshing for him too. Like you said, he's meeting all these guys and these big names, and then the small town kid from Kansas. And it's like I'm sure it was refreshing in that sense of like you probably didn't come in with like a diva mentality or an ego or anything. It was but probably came in like, look, man, I just answered the ad. I honestly thought you guys would bring me in to shoot a porn.
Yeah, hey, listen, I've gotten that offer before, so I was hoping that's not what we were doing.
It's like, hey man, so we saw your techniques on Instagram. We want to bring in and shoot some videos. Oh shit, jiu-jitsu. All right, cool. You sure like what's that bed for?
Hey, no, so this is real, man. This is real. So when I first started blowing up on Instagram, I had like maybe 10,000 followers. I thought I was hot shit with 10,000. I was like, "Oh, it's cool, whatever." No, I get an email from this company, and to this day, I'm sure one of your listeners will do the research and figure it out. There's a company in New York where they're gay porn stars. They're all male, and they do MMA and have sex with each other at the same time. Like it leads to it or whatever. And I got a no shit message. "Hey, we want you to either be a performer or to train our actors for our videos." And they didn't tell me what kind of videos they were doing, right? And so I go to their website and I just see some stuff, and I was like, "Oh, these are the kind of okay." No, no, thankfully I'm honored, but at the same time, no, I'm good. Thank you. And then they were like, "We'll offer $10,000 for the first shoot." And I was like, "Wait, how many zeros? How many zeros you just say? Hold up, just real quick." And then I was like, "No, no, 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 I can't do that."
It's like wait a minute, hold on, let me check. All right, this bill's paid, that bill's paid. No, I'm good, but thanks, I'm all right.
Come,
Like
hey, come back right after Christmas. I'm gonna be super broke right after Christmas.
it's like so I'm only training them, right? Like because like
Hey,
I like you still gonna offer the 10,000 for me to train them, right?
it was real scary. I was like, "Man, I'm gonna go into this place and I'm gonna come out with like the rear naked poke, and I'm gonna be very upset."
They get the third hook in. It's like
Oh, you ain't going nowhere now.
it's like, like oh man. All right.
I know I
Well,
could keep going on that.
the thing is like especially when it comes to Instagram notoriety, you get tons of messages and it's almost kind of a question of what's legit, what's not. And like I've gotten messages where it's like I've ignored some, just because it's like, look, I don't know that this is real. And you wait because if they send you another message and it sounds like a message of desperation. It's like, nah, I'm good. Like, nah. But they, they send a follow up message like, hey, we just wondering, they don't seem desperate, but they're checking in. It's like, all right, let me follow up. All right, let me go ahead and Google them. All right, this seems legit. I had someone. They have an assistant.
Yep.
They okay. Let me rephrase. They have an assistant. Using piss poor English now. They have an assistant. That's that wine getting to me. Like, I
Hey, I
don't,
mean, I'm waiting for the whiskey to get me slurring my speech and talking about like horse hoofs or something because I've been watching that on TikTok a lot.
like I had one mug of wine, and like I didn't bring the box with me because I knew what was going to happen. And it's afternoon. I think I still got some other chores around the house. I can't go out and work in the backyard, punch drunk. Well, I can, but I'm not. But but yeah, it's like this person that had an assistant, and I was like, don't nobody with an assistant ever message me. Like, what the fuck's this about? So I follow up, and they left like their real phone number. So I sent them a text. I was like, yeah, this is Dante. And I was like, yeah, we're wondering if so and so, if you'd like to have so and so on your podcast, they have a fight coming up, da da da. And I was like, okay, have you all listened to the podcast? Like, I wanted them to understand, like, this isn't like, this isn't Joe Rogan. Like, this is Dante. Like, you know, Jake Dante, if you're nasty, like,
Hey.
yeah, it's like, and she was like, no, we would really, like to, if you be willing to have us on the show. I had them on. He was a wonderful guy. Great conversation, but it's like, yo, I crack jokes and have fun. I laugh. I say inappropriate things and I cuss a lot. Um,
100%.
you, but that's the one time that one of those things worked out. Any other thing that I followed up on is like, yeah, so we need you just to send your social security number. It's like, huh?
Let me talk to you about your car's extended warranty real quick.
Yeah, it's like, we go through this long conversation back and forth for days, and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, by the way, what's your car's extended warranty looking like? What? God, fuck, y'all got me. Long,
You got me again. See, that's kind of so. I knew who Jiu-Jitsu X was, obviously, right? But what you'll see a lot of times, and for any of the listeners out there that like don't have that following yet, or that someday are looking for it, you gotta be careful because you'll get these larger than life opportunities that drop into your messages box, and they'll be like, oh yeah, we'll offer you this. I actually so it was super funny, and yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but so Hayabusa, one of the guys for Hayabusa reached out to me, and they just messaged me, and they were like, hey, this is Hayabusa, we'd like to do this and this. Well, the guy's name on my email was Kyle Carr, and it was not Hayabusa, right? And I was like, okay. And so I'm not gonna lie, at first I kind of blew him off, and I was like, all right, whatever, Kyle, you fuck off, Kyle. Hayabusa ain't gonna send me a message from a guy named Kyle's account. Get
yeah, I
out of
was like,
here.
Kyle, like, may as well be Chad.
Yeah, well, get out of here, Bob. Fucking trying to get my social from me and shit. And then after talking to the guy, I found out, oh shit, this is legit. Like he's got his person scheduling time with me and stuff to get a schedule worked out to have a meeting and talk about being sponsored. I talked to the guy for a little bit. Super nice guy, Kyle Carr. If you're listening, sorry, I did think you were like fake at first. My bad. I'm sorry, bro. But we talked for a while, and he's like, yo, after talking to you, I don't want to just try to get you some free gear. I want you to be our sponsored athlete for jujitsu. And I was like, what, talk to me again real quick, bro. What you talking about right now? Because I was just trying to get a promo code so I could throw it on my link tree. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, no, no, no. We want you to be the sponsored athlete for jiu-jitsu. So represent Hayabusa and our gis and our rash guards and some of our MMA equipment. And I was like, wow, like, like, really? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, you've got a great personality, and we believe in what you're trying to do, and we believe in your anti-bullying campaigns and all these things you're trying to open up. we really want you in there. And I was just like, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I got off. I put my phone on mute. Who hasn't done that though? I put the phone on mute and I was like, "Oh fuck yeah!" I'm like screaming and bouncing around, and then I was taking off mute. And I'm like, "That'd be amazing, man."
Yes, I like that.
This sounds acceptable. And no shit. Within a week, they had sent me, God, $2,000 worth of gloves and shin guards and 4 different kinds of gloves and rash guards and shorts. So if any of you guys are looking for Hayabusa stuff, go to my link because I need them to think that I'm actually doing good work for them. I'm trying.
It's not without effort, my friend. It's just hey, you're busy dude. You got a lot of shit going on.
I'm trying.
Yeah, it's funny, when social media, starts becoming this thing, and you start getting that follow base, and then you start, so I've gotten some shit about my account being set up where you can only message me if you follow, and that's all of my accounts. And it's because if you don't do that, you'll get the spam bots coming through, promoted on this or, whatever. They'll send you tons of messages and comment on your post, which gets you the engagement, I guess. But, look, man, I'm a weird kid, so I didn't have a lot of friends as a kid. So when I get a notification that I got a message, I get excited. Oh, shit, somebody want to talk. And then it turns out it's a fucking spam bot. And it's like, man, fucking with my emotions like that.
Man, future reference for anybody listening, don't ever, ever, ever pay those weirdos to add likes and comments and stuff because here's the sad part. You will, I promise you'll get 10,000 likes and follows. You'll get them. You'll get followers, 10,000 of them. It's crazy. But I promise you're gonna notice one day you're gonna be like super feeling yourself, and you're gonna be hitting like 15,000 followers, and you're getting all these likes on your posts and stuff. And one day Instagram decides to do a bot sweep, and they take away all the bots accounts, and they log them out and they ban them and whatnot. And you see your account go from 15,000 to 5 in like a day.
So what's funny is I I guess I still run the account, the Facebook account. I don't know if I do for Nerd Rage Radio. I always shout them out at the end of the show. It's my buddy's podcast. I started podcasting with them. Here we are now. But I remember they asked me if I wanted to run the Facebook. And I was like, fuck yeah. So I went on. Facebook was like, hey, give us $5 and we'll boost your posts. So I was like, yeah, here's $5. I'll do that. And then they ended up, I guess, because they talked about it on the show the following week. It was like, hey, so you notice anything about the new followers? And the two guys are talking, and Adam says about it, like, notice anything about the followers? It's like, yeah, notice that they're of a certain demographic. It's like, yeah, old ladies. So when I gave them the $5 to boost the post, they boosted it to like 70-year-old women. And like that was our follow base, like right out the gate. And it's like, oh no, these it's about to get ugly. But
Dante about to end up with the sugar mama.
hey, look, man, I collect action figures, man, and these ones they ain't cheap. I got needs, and I mean, my wife understands. She goes to Target, she finds figures for me, but she understands if push comes to shove, and I need to get that HasLab Sentinel that they put out, and I think the HasLab Galactus is out right now. I think it's $350. I'm not gonna pay that out of my pocket, but if some grandma needs a
street, pull up the street, need that.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'll give a foot massage. I just need Galactus in my collection. I'd like that Sentinel. I ain't got no room in my basement for either of them. But if I give a good foot massage, I'm sure, I ain't ashamed, man.
You got to be careful. You're gonna end up like the Yes Man. Like that movie with Jim Carrey.
Like, I mean, look, for that HasLab Sentinel, maybe I'm down. It might get a little weird.
Everything's got a price.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but when it comes to Instagram and the bot sweep, so I don't know where my following came from. Yeah, and I assume it's a lot of like the sex bots and the spam bots because they did a sweep, and I remember my following dropped. And I was like, "Yo, what the fuck happened?" And then I started thinking about it. I started putting it together. I was like, "Oh, those aren't real follows. Those are just cats like follow me." And then that's when I decided to make it where you have to follow me to comment because I don't think the bot things it's like very like straightforward and dumb. It's like that's not to say straightforward is dumb because I'm straightforward and I am a little dumb, but like like the bots, they'll follow, they'll send me like messages like in the DMs, but they don't comment. But I remember when I lost like 10,000 followers, I was concerned. I was like, "Oh my god, am I not reposting well enough?" Because I don't post my own content. I just share other people's content.
Yeah.
I'm not original. I'm just a dude. But it worried me. But then all of a sudden, I just hit this run, and yeah, I'm not sure because someone asked me, was like, "Dude, how did you get your follow? Like, how did you get the growth like that?" I was like, I don't know. It I like I'm consistent for sure, but also confused. So, moral of the story is don't pay for bots, don't fuck with them.
Nope.
Just be consistent with your post and be authentic. That like
Yep.
if people shoot me a message, I will always, talk to them. And I had people say, "Dude, I'm surprised. I would have never thought you would reply to me." He's like, I don't like I'm not famous. I'm not someone special. I'm a fucking
Said
dude
I'm
in
just
Maryland.
Dante.
Yeah, it's like I'm just Dante, just chilling. I'm down here posing action figures, and I happen to hear my phone beep.
Well, and that's what happened, with mine is I followed you. I don't even know. I followed you since because I've actually this is the crazy part. All the growth that I've seen on my social media accounts has been in the last 11 months, 12 months.
Nice.
It's been 1 year, and it wasn't something originally that I was gonna do. I was just making videos of me doing techniques, and one of my buddies was like, "Yo, try throwing that on Instagram," and I was like, "Why? Why I want to throw that on Instagram?" And I did it, and all of a sudden you got all these views and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, okay." But I sent you a message, just letting you know, like I appreciate what you guys have been putting out, and I appreciate your content, and you ended up hitting me back, and I was like, "Oh man, that was like 5 minutes of a response. What up?"
Yeah, and that's the thing is like I'll see like because I'll see a post or a message, and I'm like, okay, I always want to let people know. At the very least, I give a thumbs up to let you know that I saw it.
Yep.
But there are times where it's like you get the request because you have the different folder stuff, and I'll go into the request and see what's up. It's like, okay, this person looks like a genuine person. Cool, I'm gonna talk to them. Or if it's just like, hello, sir, ma'am, we are manufacturers. Like, okay,
Yes,
nah.
that always hits up. I just got one of those this morning, actually. I was like, ah.
Yeah, man, it's fucking nonstop. Like I started to wonder. It's like, yo, do I not like? So a friend of mine, she, I wouldn't say she's a friend. Like someone I know through Instagram, someone acquaintance through Instagram. I tried to have her on the show, and like we scheduled and everything, but schedules fell through, and I haven't reached back out. And then she ended up, she has cancer. I think she's in remission now. And she ended
Okay.
up like stage 4 lung cancer. It was like, oh my lord. So
Jeez. Well, good for her.
I reposted her GoFundMe, and I got a message, and it felt legit. I thought it was genuine, and oh dude, I was in. Me and this dude were going back and forth because it was like, hey man, I really want to help out. I mean, I'm willing to put 400 towards it. I was like, all right, word, she would love that. I think this would be real helpful. And he goes, I'm deployed right now. And I was like, okay. So I Googled the name, and it came up. It was a legit person. I was like, okay, all right, this is here we go. Let's go. So he goes, look, I can't, the only thing I can send like, a check. That's the only access I have right now. I was like, Okay, this seems a little suspect, but okay, I'm following. So he's like, I'll email it through and then just take a picture, deposit it, and then, donate it to her as you will. I was like, okay, all right. That seems so far legit. Okay. Weird, but legit. And he messages me back. All right, so I'm in my payroll office right now. Only thing, it won't let me do anything less than 1,500. So can you take the check for the 1,500, send her the 400, and then send me back the rest? I was
Nope.
like, no, we're
That's
not doing
that's
it.
that's the big red flag.
And then so I will repost her GoFundMe every other day, and I start seeing messages again, same dialogue, same exact word for word, same dialogue, different name. So what I would do is I screenshot the original one, and then I just would send the picture to the message or the messenger, like, hey, so I just got this a couple of days ago, word for word what you just said, so knock it off. So then 2 days later, I post again, same thing, and it was like, holy shit. I think one of the times I just say, you guys are so fucking stupid. Do you not understand that, like, I see you and you're sending the same message? Fuck.
Dude, I'm telling some of these bots, they genuinely believe this, or like maybe they're not bots because I've seen some of those operation videos sometimes of like what they look like, and it's just like a giant call center essentially of dudes that rented out a big space and have a bunch of crap laptops, and they're over here just like going in and just trying to scam as much money as possible before they have to clean everything up and get the fuck out.
Dude, I I want to win the lottery. Not do I want to have a bunch of money to pay my bills. Really, I don't even want a bunch of money. I just want to pay my bills, so I don't have to worry about the shit. It's like, here's a bunch of money. Just keep that shit going. Like, just keep the party rolling. But I want to win the lottery just so I could try to infiltrate one of these bot centers, find out who these scammers are, let them think I'm one of them, and then beat the diggity dog shit out of all of them on spot. Like, just get in there and just go to town.
Hey,
It's
I
like,
will start a GoFundMe for you so that we can make this happen. You know what I'm saying?
you stole Ethel's money.
Not Margaret.
Like, she's a sweet old lady. She's a beautiful demon. Just start fucking them up.
She makes me cookies every Sunday. How dare you?
They're the soft, they're bitter and chewy Chips Ahoy's. The thing is, on Nerd Rage Radio, like last time I was on there a few months back, that was someone sends in questions from the listeners and whatnot, and someone sent in just a post talking about how his grandmother got scammed. I think they took like 15,000 from her or close to, and the bank noticed it. The bank stopped it from continuing. And the question was, how would you handle that situation? I explained just what I explained here. I want to win the lottery so I can infiltrate and I will fuck them up. And
Yeah,
no,
right.
I'm not the toughest guy. I'm not the greatest fighter, but you know what I am? I'm passionate about old people. So don't fuck the elderly.
Dante is a man of focus.
There's going to be a sick, not even a sitcom, but like a TV show on CBS one day. Dante, grandpa helper.
the grandparent revenger.
Just
But
like,
we got to
see
get you
me.
a costume.
Just give me the Chuck Norris outfit from Walker, Texas Ranger. That's all I need. Just give me the cowboy hat, the cowboy boots, and some sweatpants, and just let me go to town on these cats.
That's what we're gonna get. We're gonna get the same. We're gonna get the same song in the background too. The eyes of the grappler.
Someone's gonna be watching. It's like, isn't this just fucking Walker, Texas Ranger? Nah, but it's a black dude from Maryland. Like, I think he says he's from Detroit, but he's lived in Maryland for 30 years, so fuck him. He's from Maryland. Well,
He's
don't
from
they have
Maryland.
Baltimore there? Yeah, he doesn't claim Baltimore.
Hey, it's rough around there. Okay, them old ladies be getting scammed daily.
Man, and the thing is, I mean, my buddy, he worked at Target, I think, kind of like an interim like job in between or some shit. like not making excuses for him. He was just like, I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna stop off at Target in between jobs. But he had a lady come through his lane, and she was in tears. And I guess somebody, it was on her phone, called her on the phone, and scammer got her through the phone and told her she needed to send this much money or some bullshit's gonna happen. It's like, man, don't let me catch up to one of these dudes. My wife be sending me texts like, "Hey, so I got a text saying that our pay something's wrong with our PayPal." I was like, "Girl, what? Like, why are you entertaining this?
Why are you doing this?
Like, you making me look bad." I know it's only us on the phone, but I'm embarrassed right now, and I'm about to start judging you for even entertaining the thought that PayPal text you saying, "Hey, so," or Amazon text like, "So, somebody bought 4 laptops on your dime." Like, hmm. No, you didn't, because I ain't got enough money in my account to get
Yeah,
4 laptops.
that's not happening. No, we I feel like every man who's learned some sort of combat sport in their life, right? Like I feel like every man we have that innate daydream that nags at us sometimes that we're like we something like this happens and then we're just gonna go into a room kind of like that scene in Kingsman and the song's gonna start playing and we're just gonna start going on people and we don't think about nothing else, the repercussions, nothing. But it's such a nice place to be in when you're in the middle of a bad
Of
work
course.
day or some shit like this where you get scammed. You just get to live in that daydream.
Oh no, trust me. I'm at work. That is my daydream. Like, I work in a field where sometimes we encounter, not often, but sometimes we encounter, you know, women fleeing domestic violence. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, let them come in here. And
We
they come in, and they're kind of secretive about their info. And in my mind, I'm like, I want to let it leak. I want them to show up. Meanwhile, this dude might fuck me up on spot. And, I'm thinking, I'm tough. I'll beat his ass. And it's like, because this one dude came into our office. I don't know. His wife and children were there, and he was extremely aggressive. So I just assume that maybe there's some stuff going on at home. He was a big fucking dude, and he hit my counter, and my manager stood like my manager stood up, and then he turns his attention to him, and he hits the counter again. So then I stood up, and I'm thinking in my head like, yo, we gonna have to jump this dude. But the thing is, he's big as fuck. So if he hits me, I'm playing dead, and you might be on your own, homie. But I'm gonna try not to get hit. This is all going through my mind in this scenario. Eventually, the dude just walked out, and my manager locked the door. He was like, "Yo, call the police." And I was like, the Detroit in me was like, I can't do that.
we don't do that. My fingers don't even know those numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was like, call the police. What's their number? He was like, call 911. What the fuck is that? Call 911. What? Call 911.
He
Call your
said
mother.
he said I've never even heard of a 911. What's the? I've never had seen those numbers in the
Yeah.
same like sequence.
Like, I gotta call. Like, we can call the police. That ain't something we ever did. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, and this dude's from the Dominican Republic. It's like, you not supposed to tell nobody to call the police. Like,
Never.
we both supposed to be in this together. Like, what the fuck is you doing?
Not is that,
Um,
but that's how it happens more often than not. It's like when you get into a real situation, right? You get into a situation where you're about to beat somebody's ass, you're about to get in a fight, and you're like starting to get amped up, especially if you're excited about it, right? And like
mhm.
I got into the situation. I went to a house party once, and everybody knows this dude. His name, man, the most ridiculous and off-cut name ever for a dude that doesn't know how to handle his liquor. Rodney. This man, everybody warned me, hey, Rodney's been drinking. I said, I don't know who fuck Rodney's is. I don't care. I'm here to have a good time. I'm trying to party. I'm trying to do like booby shots and stuff, whatever. And so, we're over here having a good time, just partying, having fun, doing some beer pong. And all of a sudden a big clatter happens in the back of the house and I look over and this dude's just like pushing people. And I was like, oh, I don't know who Rodney is, but all of a sudden, that's him. I know who it is now. And dude comes up and he literally swipes all the beer pong balls and cups and water and table all over the place. And I'm like, man, why you have to go and do that? Like we were just having a good time, right? I'm a short guy, but I got a loud mouth, and especially once I had the ability to like start fighting and stuff, like I didn't have that retention inside of me to just be like, okay, he's just gonna do what he wants. Like, nah, man, listen, we may be 25 years old now, but you're just a bully.
Yep.
That's all you are. You're just a big bully. Well, you know, as the night went on, Rodney just kept doing more shit and just being an asshole. And finally, he ended up, I think he said something or did something, and I looked over at him and I was like, bro, I need you to stop fucking talking. You're really starting to piss me off. And I felt like such a man, I was getting that tingle in my stomach, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're about to do this. I'm about to get in a party, like I'm about to get in a fight at a party. It's about to be fun. This is crazy. And I'm liquored up a little bit, so I'm like, I'm not gonna feel none of this until tomorrow anyway. It's all good. And Rodney's big. All right, he a big dude. He's like, I mean, obviously to me, everybody's big, but this dude's like 6 foot, maybe like, I don't know, 220, 230. And I'm just kind of sitting here and I'm like, well, I ain't gonna feel it. It's cool. And so I'm laughing and having a good time. And well, he starts getting angry and he starts getting in my face. And I thought of the coolest, most badass line I could give him. One of those nice little one-liners. And he kept getting in my face, and I could smell his breath. It's all over my face. And I'm like, Rodney, you better get out of my face before I turn your teeth into a choking hazard. And I was like, ooh, that one was good, right? And I just keep saying this shit in my head. This dude looks me in my face, and I stared him in the face. You know those moments where like you just look and you don't break eye contact, and you're like, I'm in it, I'm here, I'm ready, let's fucking go. Like I got dental insurance, everything's fine. This dude just latches onto me, and I was like, oh, here it goes. And I rock up my fist like I'm about to hit him in the ribs, and he starts crying.
Oh,
And he starts crying, and he's hysterically crying. He's like, I loved her so much, man. I loved her so much. And I was like, oh, man, the fuck I look like hitting a crying baby. Man. And so for the next 2 hours, man, I'm sitting here on a curb outside listening to Rodney cry about how his girlfriend left him for some dude, and Rodney's parents hate him.
hey, look, it was a situation that should have went south. And look, man, you were the mentor he needed. You were the ear that he needed in that moment. He just needed to be threatened.
Rodney, if you ever hear this, man, I hope everything's good, and I hope you found your dog.
God damn, his dog ran away. Rodney, reach out, son. Let's get you on the podcast. Let's talk, son. What is going on,
We can
dude?
fix this, bro.
Like you sound like you going to the ringer, homie, and we got you. Here at Off the Mats Podcast and BJJ Wiki, we got you, homie. We are the support group that you need. Come talk to us. We will get you set up at a gym. Get that frustration out, and come on, man. Don't be going to the party mess up beer pong though.
Yeah, that's a party foul. We don't do that.
Yeah, man. Ronnie sounds like a fucking liability at the moment.
It's true, but from what I heard last I checked up on him, he was doing okay. He was doing Rodney things, except
Good,
no
good.
party fouls. So
Yeah, with just going to parties in general, all that shit can become kind of a hazard on one regard, but at the same time, it's like it makes for good stories and good memories as long as nobody gets hurt or anything.
I don't know. Rodney's feelings got hurt that night. I looked him in his face. I'm like, listen, Rodney, you fucking up.
Like
You
Rodney
need.
got up in his emotions. Like Rodney probably went home that night in his car, put on Mariah Carey's Emotions, was singing that shit to the top of his lungs. It's like, damn, Rodney. Like, hey, don't get me wrong, I'm a Mariah fan. Like, I love me some Mariah Carey back in the day, but maybe I was in the car singing too. I don't know, but not like Rodney.
Nah.
Rodney was belting.
R.I.P. Bully Rodney. Well, we got the emotional Rodney now.
I mean, that's a whole nother bag though, because it's like I'm not trying to emotion shame nobody because I'm an emotional dude. I cry a lot. And you
Yep.
catch me on a wild day, I was sitting there just crying for no reasons. Like my wife came downstairs one day, I was watching Bernie Mac, She was like, "You all right?" It was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be all right." It was the episode where he took the kids back to see their mom, and mom didn't show up for Vanessa, and then because for me that's a little that hits home. So I'm watching that shit and I started crying. My wife was like, "Gonna be all right?" I was like, "I'll be all right." And then I watched it again with my daughter, thinking like, "I'll be good, I'm fine." And I cried again. My daughter looked at me. She was 3 at the time. She might have been 4. She looked. I was like, "Dad, you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, honey, buddy, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. You want to play? You want to play Street Fighter?"
You
Beat
said,
her
"Hey, just
ass.
going through some shit."
We played Street Fighter real quick, and I stomped her into the ground. I felt much better. So,
Nothing.
so in that moment, I became Bully Dante.
Hey, no quarter. No quarter for children.
So before we got on the air, we were talking about you're a whiskey connoisseur. So what's some of your favorite brands? See, I'm asking this question because I'm trying to take notes for the Colompton Beer Club episode. We're gonna try to do a whiskey review show. So I'm trying to get some notes real quick.
Uh, so just easy sipping. I usually stick with either like I usually stick with like Crown Vanilla, just to like easy sipping, something I'm not trying to get destroyed on or wake up with a headache the next day.
All right.
Um, if I want to have conscious thoughts, I'll have that Crown Royal Vanilla. If I'm drinking with buddies and we're just trying to kick back and have a good time, I like the Horse Soldier. That's a really good whiskey, and I believe the guys who make that were part of the original horse soldiers of Afghanistan. So if you've ever seen the movie 12 Strong,
Yeah.
the guys that started or the guys that lived that occurrence went out and opened up their own distillery, and that's their distillery. It's really cool, really
Nice.
smooth taste. I love it, and those are kind of my two go-tos. I have a buddy. His name's Chris Arnold. He's an amazing dude. He was the sports reporter here in Wichita, but he used to buy a different whiskey every weekend, and we would just drink and enjoy, and it was amazing. I do love me some Bullier, the or Bullet. Um,
Okay. Yeah. I got a bottle of that over there.
yeah, that stuff's good. Very smooth. Very. I mean, it makes you feel like a man. you, you can feel the beard start to come in and the chest hair start to propagate itself.
And my buddy got me that bottle for my birthday. I don't know how many years ago. Like it was when we first moved here, so it might not have been right out the gate because I didn't have a TV down here. So it might have. Well, we're in 2023 right now, so he probably got that for me. I want to say 2018, so 5 years ago. So we only really sip on that on like occasions. It's like all right. We don't use that to party. We pour a little glass and some ice, and then we cool out to that.
Yep.
It's kind of how we might every so often end the podcast with like a glass of Bullet, just to kind of like, all right, it was a good run. Let's go ahead and sip this up real quick because we know, this is our reward. So
I
I'm
like it.
familiar with that.
Heck yeah.
Well, I got my notes here for those three. So
Yeah, definitely try the Horse Soldier. I mean, not only is it's a good brand, but I mean, it's got a good story behind it, and it supports some real heroes. So
good. I think that's you know one of those things in this day and age too when we look at support and really just as we navigate through the world and buy stuff, it becomes this question of, when you're buying anything, what's, who are you buying from? What's it supporting? Type things like that. I always tell my wife I like to buy things where I know that it's going to help someone or going to support, a specific group that may have, they're trying to, get their foot in, except for when it comes to my action figures. I mean, I always say fuck Hasbro, but look, they got what I need. And they like my relationship with Hasbro is an abusive one because they know, they fucking know that I need that Rachel Summers Phoenix figure, and these motherfuckers will not make it. They know what the fuck they got. Everyone from Excalibur made Nightcrawler, Shadowcat, Captain Britain, Megan. These motherfuckers won't make fucking Rachel Summers, yo. Like, yo, so fuck Hasbro until they make that though. Then I'm like, yeah, Hasbro came through, son. So
They're always keeping you on your toes, man. That's
yeah,
how it
well,
is.
and they be making sets where it's like, all right, you buy like a set, and then like each figure comes with a piece to build a bigger figure, the build a figure, if you will. And they'll like, I think the Guardians of the Galaxy set has like Cosmo the space dog as the build a figure. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers, yo. Good and goddamn well, I don't want to build the fucking just sell the space dog with somebody. And then the Ant-Man set is like the build a figure is like his daughter, Ant-Man's daughter, like giant, like I guess her character's name is Stature, so she's like giant. And it's cool because they have like 3 characters from the movie, and then there's like 3 characters nobody fucking asked for. Just 3 bullshit characters
Nobody asked for.
it's like Egghead and some other bullshit future Ant-Man. I was like, yo, get the fuck out of here with this, yo. Like, and then my wife, she knows the deal. She's like, I know you want the build a figure though. It's like, yeah, I want the fucking build a figure, but yo, I don't want Egghead, yo. I don't, I'm not. I don't want to buy that shit and just have it sitting around. Like, I only want to give that to my daughter. That's. I
So
don't know, man.
can you do it? Like can you do the old eBay thing where you buy the just the build a figure piece without
You
the
Yeah, but then it gets real weird to me because it's like, all right, so I want to buy the leg. Somebody's like, all right, $30. It's like, yo, dog, the figure ain't even fucking $20, yo. You trying to charge me 30 for a leg? Like what are we doing? Like, I have spare pieces here in the house where it's like, if somebody said, hey man, I think somebody was trying to build Giant Man from Captain America Civil War when Ant-Man, grew. That was the build a figure, and someone's trying to build him. I bought the only figure I bought from that set was Black Panther, so he came with the leg. And someone was like, "Yo, I need that leg. Anybody, trying to sell it?" And I was like, "Yo, I'll just give it to you, son. It's just sitting here in a box." And my wife's like, "No, sell it to him for $10." I was like, "Nah, man, because I don't want to be that dude, but I'll also be that dude too." It's like, yo, I'm trying to buy that arm, and like, yeah, it's $25. It's like, damn, dude, $25. How bad do I want that arm though? Then then I ask myself, what am I going to spend $25 on? And it's like, all right, double cheeseburgers.
Hey.
I'll probably $25. I'll just buy another figure anyway. But I'll most likely buy some double cheeseburgers, maybe 2 scratch offs. Um, you know, like a box of wine if it's cheap enough. Like I could do stuff for $25. So
It's true. I mean, I feel that my little brother, at least I call him my little brother. He's my little brother. Fuck it. He's it's super funny seeing us side by side because I'm this short little kind of stocky white dude. I mean, I'm actually Hispanic, but you wouldn't be able to tell unless I was like it's somewhere that gets a lot of sun. But my little brother is this 6'6", 340-pound black dude named Marcus, and he's got these dreads that go down to his nipples, and he's all about the action figures and all about the. I mean, we watch anime and stuff together. We watch all the Marvel movies together.
nice.
Watch action movies together. But I've just never had that proclivity to go out there and just get action figures, mainly because when I was a kid I couldn't afford them. But Marcus is all about him, and he's got walls of it. And I'm like, okay, you're easy to shop for, really, because all I got to do is grab anything Black Panther action figure related, and
Yep.
it's over.
Yeah. I mean, that's the weird thing about it is like my wife. So, Christmas and birthday comes about. She's like, I don't know what to get you. And it's like, girl, you've been buying me action figures all summer. Like when I count up what's in this basement, I would say 50% have at least half, if not a little more. She paid, like she went out and bought it herself. Like I do a lot of like the shopping I go on Amazon because I wait for the prices to drop because there'll be figures that's like, that one's not going to do well. You'll see it for $9 instead of 20. But She'll see something in the store and she'll send me a picture. I'm at work. She'll send me a picture like, yeah, you need this one? Like, yes, absolutely. She got what did she get me? There was a 2-pack, a Spider-Man 2-pack with him and Mary Jane. There's a what else? There's a figure that we thought was long lost. We would never see this figure in the store ever again. The wave had come out 2 years prior. That figure was $90 if you went online. She found that joint in the store. She texted me. She was like, "Yo, do you need this one? This is the one you want, right?" And I was like, "Yo, buy that shit now. Run to the register, pay for it now. Do not hesitate." Um, but it's like, when it comes to like being a collector, a lot of times we like to be hands on with our own shit because we know exactly specifically what we're looking for. But there are times though, like I said, my wife, she knows. She'll be out the store. She's like, okay, I know he's looking for this, looking for that. All right, cool. And if I see I got a call coming in from her at work, all right, this is gonna sound kind of fucked up, but I answer it because I know she's at the store. It's not even the thought that there's an emergency, something might be wrong. It's like, oh shit, she in Target right now. Let me see what's going on. Like,
Let me
did you
see
get
what
the
the
picture?
situation is.
Like, do you like, this is like, I'm a big ass kid, We just like, look. The way I look at it is if we're in this art of jujitsu, you gotta be a big ass kid, You can't be like someone that like grapples with your friends on a regular basis and and you're contorting each other's arms and choking each other to the point of like injury and unconsciousness and not be a big kid. You gotta have some fun with life in that regard.
I feel like there's two types of people that do jujitsu. There's the people that I say don't normally stick around. In my experience,
Mhm.
they don't stick around. They're the people that come in because they want to learn a self-defense technique and they want to learn how to handle themselves in a situation, and they want to they essentially just want to do the sport because they want to learn a new skill of that they can actually utilize, right? And then you have the people who stick around forever. And that's the people who are in love with it and understand that the number of times I'm going to get to actually use this in a real life situation is like two. Like listen, I would love to say that we are all going to use jujitsu every single day of our life. Now we will use the fundamentals, the concepts that we learned. We're going to learn to never give up. We're going to learn
Yeah,
be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. We're going to learn that the calmest guy in the fight's always going to win. But we are not going to be throwing arm bars on assailants every single day. It's not happening. If you're in it for that, you're going to be sorely sad when you find out that like the number of people that are coming at you trying to fight you and actually are susceptible to the arm bar not going to be there. And
that's fact.
it is. And so the people that are left, though, the ones that stick around for long periods of time, the one that you build bonds with, are the guys who just enjoy being in a sweaty set of pajamas, rolling around with other guys that are in sweaty sets of pajamas. And you, the kids that never grew out of wrestling around on mom's living room floor. That's who we are.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about like I've like my cousins, my cousins would come through Christmas time and we turn the den area into a giant ass wrestling ring. And cats would just I remember because I was the oldest, I was the champion. I was the world champ. But to piss off the other ones, I would let the youngest one beat me and let him be champ just to piss them off. And then we're like, we're going after him now. And then every time they get ready to pin him, I just interfere and start stomping them. But it's like you carry that over into like something like this. My cousins have tried jujitsu with me. At least the youngest one, he has. He's come in and he's tried it. And it's the same feel. It's like, look, we just didn't outgrow that childhood mentality of us just fighting each other and playing and being dumb. And like you said, there are those individuals that are going to come in and they think, oh well, I'm just going to learn the self-defense technique, because media will give you this idea of like, oh, if they go to a couple Taibo classes, they'll be able to defend themselves in a situation. Meanwhile, we know from doing this for so many years, like it takes time to perfect the move. And honestly, even with time, you don't even necessarily perfect it as much as it's you mold it to work for you. And like you said, like, you were coming up with submissions that, you have to catch people off guard with them, because we all learn them the same way and learn to defend the same way in our gyms. So that's part of that education. Is like, I got to get crafty with this shit. You don't learn that in two Taibo classes.
Nope.
You don't learn that in, like, a week of self defense classes down at the Y. My coworker, she uh she's asked me before with her group of friends, like, would you be willing to, like, do a self defense class with us? How much would you charge? I'm very weird about money, so I was like, nah, I don't want to charge y'all nothing. I mean, because to me, it's like, I'm not a fucking professional. I don't know shit. I can teach you, like, the basics. Like, here's a oompa sweep. Here's a rear naked choke. Here's a kimura. I can teach you these simple things, but I don't want to charge anybody for that, because it's like, I don't even know if I'm teaching you right. You know, like, I ain't got no waivers for y'all to sign. Like, I don't want these brawls out there punching each other in the head for no reason. Like, oh shit, they didn't even sign the waiver. But she's like, would you be willing to, do, self defense, classes for us? I was like, I I would feel uncomfortable, because it's going to take more than just a couple classes. What are you doing this for? Are you doing this for legitimately wanting to learn self defense? Is this a team building exercise for you and your friends? I don't know what the fuck. I never had team building exercises with my friends. We didn't just go, to the Y and say, hey, let's learn self defense as friends. Now we just put on some boxing gloves, start punching each other in the head and getting
They're
CTE.
trying to be the Power Rangers.
Oh yeah, yo, I should text her and be like, yeah, I'll teach y'all, but y'all got to dress up in these specific colors.
The yellow, pink, blue, green. Someone
Yeah,
got to wear the black.
and, y'all better figure it out too. Like, I don't want to see two. I don't want to see two Red Rangers show up. Like, if I see
Make
two people in red, I'm walking out.
make sure they're all wearing like white sneakers so that you really get that white and red, white and pink, white and yellow.
Oh no, yeah. If I were to do it, they gotta do Power Rangers gear. Like, they gotta show up that way. If anybody says no, I'm not doing it, I was like, then you don't care about yourself. You don't want to defend your family.
Yeah, you're not morphing. You know what I'm telling
But I mean, that's the thing, though. You'll have people that think, oh, well, it's only going to take a couple classes, and I'll know how to defend myself. And it's like, it's not that.
you?
You got to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, you're not getting anything from it. And the unfortunate thing with that is, people, they don't have the patience for it, and they end up quitting.
See, the one thing I always say is probably more valuable than the actual submission abilities and sweep abilities and all of that. Whether you're learning Brazilian Jiu Jitsu or wrestling or Muay Thai or boxing, it's the toughness that genuinely, I in my opinion at least, it's the toughness that is the most valuable because you get into a fight and some guys choking you out or whatever. Before Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna start flailing and going crazy and I'm gonna start freaking out. Now you start doing that weird little sexual assault choke on me and I'm gonna start throwing up arm bars and I'm gonna start doing what I know, but I'm gonna stay calm. That's the difference between the two. Is one of them I'm gonna freak out, the other one I'm gonna stay calm. And that's what you learn with boxing and Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling and judo is you learn how to be calm in those bad situations. And that is what increases your survival chances. It's not the ability to, oh, I can throw an armbar on this guy. Okay, but what happens when that guy picks you up in the air and slams you down out of that armbar? Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I don't think we we prepare for that in class. It's like, all right, so this is what you do when you get slammed on your head. You shake a little bit, you might piss yourself. Like, damn, how about we just don't get there?
You won't know math anymore, but
And at that point, I'm just like, oh, so no change. Perfect. Like, perfect.
when people always say things like you post videos, and I'm sure you've seen it on there, reposting videos and hosting and whatnot. But I'll post a video on the internet, right? And this is one of the funniest things I see on a day-to-day basis. Is I'll post a video of like an arm bar, and then some dude says, "Oh yeah, that'll work until they pick you up and slam you on your head and blah 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 blah," or "That's gonna work until the guy turns his arm and recaptures and then takes your back." And I'm like, okay, but listen, here's the one thing I've learned about true martial artists. Most guys that do Brazilian Jiu Jitsu or boxing or Muay Thai or whatever your discipline is, right? But we'll focus on Brazilian Jiu Jitsu here. Like, they're not looking to fight somebody. They're
Yeah.
looking to just mind their own business and know how to handle business if it comes to them. So the guy that I throw into an armbar that he's probably not going to know that information. Why? Because I'm not just going to go out looking for a fight. More than likely, it's going to be some untrained guy who doesn't know how to focus his aggression, like Rodney.
Damn,
but,
Rodney, I'm calling you out, son.
but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a matter of I'm not just fighting randos on the street. Not looking to start fights with randos on the street. And anybody who would know how to turn and capture the back, and now we're on a bad situation per Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Well, I would hope that whatever situation we're in, they're not looking to get into a fight either. I don't know. It's always struck me as weird that you get these keyboard warriors on here who are like, oh yeah, until they pick you up, until they spin you around and they do they do an osotogari here, they do this. It's like, but why are we fighting if they have that information? More than likely, we're just gonna nerd out about jujitsu.
Yeah, if they know that, chances are we're about to become good friends, and then we're gonna de-escalate this situation and talk it down, and then probably go train.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, like
Like if he
I
has no osotogari on me, it's because we're playing now.
the I put up many a post. I always get shit like that, but a more recent post I put up, and it was about basically, a new white belt shows up and everybody's eyeing them down, and it's a funny video. I think it's a bunch of tigers watching a duck in the water. It's
Okay, yeah, I saw
what's
that
the
one.
dude? Tony Baker comedy. It's his voiceover. And then I've gotten so many comments in there. Yeah, until you find out he's a D1 wrestler, or then he puts on his wrestling shoes and fuck you up. It's like, shut the fuck up. God damn, y'all are annoying. It's like, actually, I have a couple videos of yours I've posted, and people, for fuck's, oh my god. Okay, let me catch my breath real quick because I'm about to go in on these motherfuckers
Oh,
real quick.
trust me, man. I read the hate comments every day. I just kind of let it go. But yeah, no, go ahead. I love
Actually,
these.
one of your reposts, I had to turn the comments off.
Mm,
Like it was unbearable. I was like, all right, like the video was getting the traction. People, there's tons of likes and people were like reposting it.
yeah, turn the
But
comments off though.
yeah, because what's the? Hold on, let me um, uh, Brizzy Brawls.
Oh yes.
So I've posted three, I believe, at least three videos with you and her, and the comments are like it's this weird thing because it's like two different versions of the comments, or three different versions of the comments. Version number one is, look, she's a healthy young lady. We like that can't be denied. And those are the comments that are coming in like, oh, I want to train where she's training. Like I let her like put me in a triangle. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, please, like, you should just shut your fucking cock holster.
Yep.
Jesus. And then the next comment is, well, yeah, that will work until they do this or do they're like, well, if they turn their arm this way or like that knee bar wouldn't work. So there was a knee bar, was it from Half Guard
Yep.
that I reposted. And I love it because I do that knee bar. Or I try to. Let me rephrase that. I try that knee bar. I don't actually do it,
He said, "I'm gonna be a
but
master of it one day." Here we go.
yes, one day we'll get this figured out. But today ain't that day. But I reposted it because I love that knee bar. I was like, that's perfect. I'm gonna repost this. And just the fucking shitstorm of like negative comments. And I'm not that guy that, I don't like playing the game of like sexism and like, oh, guys are only hating because it's a female doing it or this or that. Look, people are just shitty. It's the internet. But I wanted to test something, so I reposted Mason Fowler doing the same exact knee bar. Oh, look at that. Crickets. Or, dude, that's cool. Fire. Yeah, man, that's an awesome knee bar. Oh, wait a minute. No, but it's, I was like, I'm not even going to comment. I'm just going to I'm going to let it rock. But, and then the third one is, why, like, oh, that's so bad. Why is she even doing that move? Because that was one of the comments. They had actually two people who commented like who's even allowing her to do these moves? Like that's so. It's like shut the fuck up. It's like you guys are. I actually got to censor myself. I was about to go off the deep end right there with that next comment. So y'all are just some fucking dummies. Like chill, son. If you
No,
don't like it, keep scrolling.
100%. So we get. So I used to post the videos. This is the funny part too. This is what cracks me up. Is obviously I think I got to 45,000 or 40,000 without ever featuring Brizzy. Brizzy's a great athlete. She's amazing. She's a smart girl, really quick. Um, but she loves jujitsu. She loves everything about the sport. She loves being part of it. Now, here's the other caveat to it. She's a sexy ass young girl. I mean, she is what she is. She's like in her 20s. She stays fit. She got a fat butt on her. And she likes being comfortable when she grapples. She likes being comfortable when we do our movements and whatnot. So, she wears like butt scrunch leggings or whatever kind of leggings. Like she can wear whatever she wants. It is what it
Yeah,
is. It's just a video. Now, do my videos do well with her in them? Yeah. Why is that? Let's not beat around the bush. She's a
no,
sexy ass girl. It's the same reason why, Budweiser had the Budweiser girls for the last 20 years. It's the same reason why every anime ever, their boobies are 75% out of their shirts. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like it is what it is. And am I opposed to it? Absolutely not. As long as her skill is still there. I'm not going out hiring some random bimbo on the street to come and try some moves. Bree still has the skill that she has.
Well, I think that's the thing too that people, immediately jump to is like, oh, you're only doing it because of this. And it's like, well, no, there is still skill there. But also the thing that people are willingly choosing to be ignorant about is you're drilling a move. So you're moving at a pace where it can be done where it doesn't look sloppy, it doesn't look bad.
Correct.
So people are like, oh, so you're just gonna put the arm there, or you're just gonna like no one's just gonna let someone do it's like, okay, come on, yo. Like what are we doing here? Like what are we arguing about? Now I will also say this, and I like the issue thank you to you all as well when Instagram was doing their reels program and paying for content, paying the posters on the reels. I'm not sure how that works, but y'all got me paid, so thank you. Like I owe you, a bottle of horse soldier. So
Let's
um
go. We'll drink it together.
but the thing is, it's like, yes, it like, will those posts do very well? Absolutely. You know, is there skill involved in the post? Absolutely. So it's like there's no problem. And not only that, the individuals in the video, Brizzy, she's dressed how she's dressed by her choice. It's not like you're like, okay, so we're gonna put these videos together. I need you to wear this. It's like that's just a string. Yeah, but it's gonna be good for content, you know. it's not one of those. It's like, it's comfort, and
Correct.
that's what it should be about. Is when you're practicing, martial arts, when you're fighting, basically, you want to be comfortable. You know, I can imagine, like, I'm wearing fucking sweatpants right now, like bag ass sweatpants. Yeah, that's not fun to get on the mats in. Like getting caught and like, I mean, it's no different than wearing a gi, but it's like, okay, we're doing no gi. I'm wearing sweatpants. I'm getting tangled up constantly. It's uncomfortable. You want to be wearing, spats. You want to be wearing, you know, you know, a gear that's gonna give you the ability to move smoothly. So I don't know. I wanted to voice that because, like, these cats that just be jumping on the content and commenting, like, especially the thing that really gets me is that the cats that are commenting, it's kind of a twofold thing, because you get a lot of like blue belts that are making these shitty comments, like, shut the fuck up. Like,
Well, that's the one
but
thing that's always kind of interested me too is a lot of the people who say, like, especially on any of like the posts that are just even just me just doing technique with some random dude at the gym. We get comments that are like, that'll never work in competition or whatever. And then I go look at their stuff. Sometimes I don't get caught up in it much, but sometimes I'll go look and they're like a competition blue belt. And I'm like, I mean, I'm not I have a lot of I always say to everybody in my gym, like, anybody could walk in off the street, straight up, never done jiu-jitsu a day in their life. And if they figure it out fast enough, they could sub me within 15 minutes of being there. It is what it is. That's the way the world is. That's what I love about this sport is the smarter you are, the better you are. That's how it works here. And but like it's like, I mean, I get it. Sure, you're a competition blue belt. You're used to seeing things done this, and this way. And I always leave it open whenever people do leave those comments. I'm like, anytime anybody wants to fly out to the gym here in Kansas and give it a try, you go ahead. We we take everybody of all shapes and sizes, and we love the challenge. It's the same thing that I say whenever people say, Brizzy can't do this, and she would never, that would never work on me. And I'm like, listen, I promise you this. I don't have much, but I will put all that I have on that girl.
I mean, and that's the thing too. It's like when cats run their mouths, is from a safe distance. There's no plan nor desire to actually set foot in any gym or academy and test you. It's a fact of life. Guys will run their mouths. I mean, like I said, I'll see blue belts that talk a lot of shit, and it's like, it's fine. I'm a blue belt too, and you know what? I don't talk shit. You know why? I think part of it though, I'm old. I'm old as fuck, man. My hip hurt. Like, but it's like I see these blue belts, come in and make these dumb comments. But the thing that pisses me off the most is I see black belts that come in
Yeah.
and make the comments, and it's like, I got into it with a black belt years ago. I reposted a friend of mine's post, and this guy jumps in and goes, "Take this down immediately." And I was like, yo,
Excuse
are
me?
you? I was like, what? First of all, like, and I told him, he's like, yo, take this down immediately. And I was like, I'm not doing that. He was like, this is poor technique, da da blah blah blah. Now, mind you, my friend who posted the video, it's not even of him drilling. He's actually in a live roll. So, and things look a lot different in a live roll because
It's
you're
always a
in a
little
live
sloppy when
roll.
you're in a live role. I mean, nothing works
Yeah.
out perfectly.
And I was just like, yo, are you serious? So I started researching, because I'm petty. When people talk shit, I like to go dig. Most of them have their accounts blocked, most,
Yep.
but this guy did not. And it's like, oh, this dude's a black belt. Let's see what else we got. Oh, I got your name. Let's go ahead and Google this name real quick. Started going. It's like, oh, you're a horrible human. Fuck. It's like, fuck you. And then I think that's one of the things that kind of, at that time, this was, I want to say 3 years ago. It was one of those things that kind of hit me at the moment where I realized, it's like, just because you have a black belt doesn't mean you're a good person or you're a great leader or a good teacher. I mean, you know the techniques, but okay, good. You're an expert. But that doesn't mean you have the authority to tell people, right from wrong, or, this or that. Also, it seems like maybe this is a cat who got his black belt and was like, I'm done. I got it. I don't need to do any more. Whereas most black belts are like, I got my black belt. It's just still a learning process.
That's just the beginning. I promise you.
Yeah.
Getting your black belt, it's like once again, oh, thank you so much to my mentor, Marcio Laselva. He was amazing, and it was just it was a larger than life situation for me. But I was 26, 27 when I got my black belt, and but that's honestly just the beginning, because now you're in a pool with other people, and you are the lowest ranking in this pool of other dudes who have been doing this for like my mentor's been doing this for 25 years, and every time I spar with that man, even though he's got 30 years on me of as far as like age goes, that man makes me feel like I'm an infant getting picked up and cradled and put into a bassinet, and he might as well swallowed my ass. I'm just like, damn, okay. But you, if anything else, when you're a black belt, you should be more humble and you should be more open to new ways and new techniques and new types of thinking. It should never be a situation of you thinking that you're the best, or I know this better than anybody else, because I promise you, I don't know if you've seen any of the more recent stuff that like Musmuchi's been doing out lately, but homie's been he does the craziest shit ever, and it works. It just works. Like, it doesn't matter how you feel about it. It doesn't matter if you think it's plausible or not plausible. If it works, it works. Shut the fuck up and take notes or look away.
Yeah. I mean, that's the easiest thing to do is to look away. You know how much shit I see on the internet all the time that I do not agree with, I do not care about, I do not like. And I just keep scrolling. It's like, I don't know, it's not for me. Just keep rolling. Um, I, I go on TikTok and, I see a lot of political posts that come up. It's not my cup of tea. I keep scrolling. And I figure, that's how the algorithm works is like, if you don't like it, if you don't keep like going to it, it should go away, but it keeps fucking coming back. But I mean, you got people that just want to be miserable.
Oh yeah, when you get a lot of guys that just want attention, to be honest with you, because
Yeah.
there was one guy, and I hope he's listening, because I hope he's listening. It was so weird. This dude has commented on every fucking post I've had since I started a year ago. Every post, and he's always saying something negative about it, right? Always talking shit. This dude lives talking shit. One day I finally called him out, and I was like, "Yo, I mean, you could just as easily keep fucking scrolling. You don't have to stop here. You don't have to follow me. He follows me, and he still talks shit, and I'm like you don't have to do this shit." And I was like, to be honest with you, bro, anytime you want the business, you fly out to this address, come get the business. We're always down, we're always accepting, and if you tap me out, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy you a beer. That's the kind of person I am. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna be like, how'd you do that? That's really cool. I don't have an ego. I don't care. And he actually ended up responding back, and he was like, I just like talking shit. You're one of my favorites, bro. And I was like, what the fuck, man?
God damn it.
What are you doing?
Like, this is not how this works. Dick.
Like, this whole time, I thought this dude was like, cause like I always post and I expect him to talk shit, and then he was like, no, you'd miss me if I stopped commenting, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? These people exist?
Yeah. There's I put up, what did I put up on my which post? Oh no, it was on BJJ Wiki. I reposted this young lady. It's I think, how does it go? It's like a first date, and the guy comes in, they go to hug, and he goes for the underhooks, and then he's like taping his fingers up, and she's like, "Oh, did you injure yourself?" I was like, "No, this is for grips," and he gives her a mouth guard. It's just the shit is hilarious to me. And someone commented, they're like, "This is not funny." So I replied to him. Normally I don't reply. Normally I just keep scrolling. I replied and I was like, maybe not to you. And and I was like, but that's okay. And he actually liked it back. Because that's my whole thing. Is like, yeah, it might not be funny to you. But as you can see by the original posters page, you go there, tons of comments, people love it, tons of likes, tons of views, and then on mine, same deal. So it's like it may not be funny to you, and that's okay if it's not funny to you. We all
Yep.
have different senses of a different sense of humor, but I thought it was fucking goddamn hilarious because it's just like the mouth guard shit had me dying because he's like, "Oh, what's this?" He puts the mouth guard in the mouth. It's like, if that's the first date, like, what the? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Listen,
I,
we're doing
I,
some really up close, no close triangles the next day. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it's like, all right, like, come here. I'm gonna show you what this triangle is all about. It's like,
Well,
huh?
and you said something earlier that kind of that got me thinking. Like, so Mason Fowler. Mason Fowler is an amazing athlete. He's an amazing content creator. I love him. He's a
Mm-hmm.
great guy all around. Um, very very easy to talk to individual, pretty down to earth. Um, I followed him before I started Immortal, right? I followed him. I followed Eli Knight for Night Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah.
I followed Juju Emil. His
Yep.
posts are amazing. Very creative grappler there too as well. And I followed all these guys, and it was super funny that like they were all like my heroes as far as like coming up with new content, being really just eclectic grapplers and um, it is super funny. I will actually sometimes do the exact same moves that they do. I won't claim they're mine. I'll just be like, hey, we're just drilling this today. We're doing this today or whatever. And I will get so much hate on these moves. And
Of
I'm
course.
like, why? Like, why? Like, what are you talking about? Then I'll go to them, and it's sometimes the exact same people that are commenting hate here, but they're like throwing love out on Eli Knight, and that's fine. I'm no Eli Knight. I'm no Mason Fowler. I'm no Juju. But at the same time, like you're not at that point, you're not talking shit on me. You're talking shit on the technique.
Yeah.
And that technique is something that, these guys who have, a breadth of experience have developed and put out there. And you're talking shit on that instead. I don't know. It's just it's weird to me.
No, no, I get it. Like I said, I put up the knee bar post that you all did, and I was like, okay, I like. And I mean, initially, it was like, look, I like that knee bar because it's sneaky.
Hmm.
It's like people aren't expecting it, and all the like. The thing is, don't get me wrong, there were a lot of positive comments
Oh yeah.
and
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of likes, but there are also a lot of shitty comments where I was like, it's so much I had to turn off the comments. So it was like, I'm not even in the mood for this today. Like, and it is rare that I turn off the comments, but I think I was just having a bad morning, and I was like, "Get the fuck out of my face."
No, and so that's one of the things that, you know, Brizzy, she had a little bit of a hesitance to start posting. Now she's got like 90,000 followers on there, but she had a hesitance to start being featured because she has very soft skin when it comes to people, talking shit on her jujitsu and whatnot. And I told her, I was like, listen, if you want to be out here and you want to throw yourself out there, you're putting yourself out there at the end of the day. You're putting your technique, your experience, your credentials, just everything that you do on the mat. You're putting it out there. If you are not prepared for the hate that's going to come with that, then you gotta maybe take a step back and wait until you are. And she finally has, and she's doing amazing. Um, but that's one of the things that you gotta take with a grain of salt because, and this goes out to anybody that's trying to start up or be out there or put themselves out there. You're gonna get a lot of hate, no matter what. I don't care who you are, unless you walk out the gate and you started a new profile and you're Gordon Ryan. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna get hate if they
Yeah,
don't know who
even
you
Gordon
are.
gets it.
Yeah, you're gonna get the hate. But here's the thing. I look at those posts where I get a bunch of hate comments, right? Like just like there's like 30 of them or 40 of them. Sometimes there are 100 of them. I don't know. But then I also look and there's 800,000 likes.
Uh-huh.
That means, I mean, but mathematically, my ratios are looking good. you know, for every one hater, I'm getting like 12,000 likes.
Yep.
Why do I need to be afraid?
And that's just the thing too. It's like, you know, to quote Joe Rogan on this one, you know who doesn't go out and write shitty comments and hate? Winners.
Yep.
So, for everybody that's out there, they got something shitty to say. It's like, look in the mirror, dude. Why are you angry? Like, what are you doing with yourself? And anyone that made it this far in the podcast and you hear that and you got some shit to say, ask yourself this. You just listen to over 90 minutes of a podcast, but you hate. So, like, ask yourself some questions. Although I'm hoping that anybody made it this far in the podcast, you know, are like genuinely like cool in the gang and you know, you're here for the guests because that's what the podcast is about. It's about you all as guests, and I'm just a facilitator.
Hey, I appreciate it though. Honestly, like I've been a big fan of you guys' podcast. I'm not able to catch them all. Obviously, just I'm super busy right now. But I started seeing off the mats. I think probably I don't know when you guys started specifically, but I started seeing a lot more
I
stuff pop up in the
think
last 3 months or 4 months.
I think it started. I don't know when it started. The page or the podcast started August of 22, and it's been kind of a slow. I think it just really picked up this summer. Like as far as like the Instagram page, I'm not very consistent with reposting on here. As far as that Instagram, like BJJ Wiki, there's a system. Off the mats, not as much, but look, man, like as far as you know, the podcast goes, and you know, listeners, period, and just anything, you know, I just appreciate you know everyone that does listen. I appreciate you all as the guests making the time because the thing I tried to explain to my grandma when I told her I'm not a good interviewer, and she was like, well, Jake, you need to figure that out. And I was like, well, no, grandma, I just do a good job of picking fun guests. Like, I'm not good at like making the episode happen as far as the questions. I just pick guests that can carry the show. Like, I've only had one guest that I felt like, oh no, this
This
was a
was
mistake.
bad.
I mean, it was still a good episode, but we had to work. Like I was
Yeah.
like, shit, I didn't, and that's a lot on me because I wasn't prepared. I had one thought in my mind. I was like, oh, they're gonna be smooth at this, and then they were really nervous and very humble, and I was like, fuck, I didn't have questions for them. Oh man, so I just started. I made shit up on the fly. I was like, what made you think to do it this way? And they would give like short answers. I was like, fuck, like I need at least 45 minutes. Like this dude gave me 30. Like,
So
all right,
how do we do?
dude, like we're rolling up to 2 hours. Um, so that being what it is, let's go ahead and wrap up.
Yeah, man.
Um,
It was super funny you brought up your grandma. My grand just so I can make sure that she hears this. My grandma is the light of my life. That's my sweet lady. She knows it. She raised me. She definitely had a huge hand in raising me. She was my person. So I can 100% relate cuz I told her I was actually going to be on a podcast and she was like, "Are you sure they had enough time for that shit?" Cuz all you like to do is talk, homie.
that's the thing, man. It's like for me, whenever I do an episode, I don't want to say specifically to the guest. I don't want to say, "Hey, man, I hope you like to talk." You know, I try to gauge it, and then once we get rolling, it's like, "Yes, we in this now." But, um, but no, thank you again for making the time to do this. I feel like there might have been some stall. I think I think I reached out to you before and I might have botched the times or I might have like took some time to get back to you because I was trying to sort out the time, but I'm glad we are able to get this done today because I'm going to be honest, I kept thinking it was a different day and I was really fucking confused. And I looked at the schedule. I was like, okay, yes, we are doing it today. Okay, I'm not fucking hallucinating. So
No, it's the
we
same
got
for
it
me.
done.
I was like trying to sleep in because I had a little bit of a get together last night to watch fight night, and I
Yeah.
was like, I woke up at 11, and I was like, I have something really important to do today. What was it? And then I sat about. I was like, oh shit, it's time for a podcast. So
Well, so I had to put specifically in the note to you that we're going to do it at because you're Central and I'm Eastern. I was like, we're going to do it at we're going based off of your time, not
yeah,
mine, because I've had guests where I'll say a time and we get it mixed up. So now for guests, I tell them we're going to go by your time and I'll adjust. Um, so, and I had a really bad headache actually when I woke up from a nap and I saw your message. I was like, okay, so we're still on. Good, good, good. Let me hydrate. Let me eat some canned fruit real quick. And here we are. So Thank you again, RJ, for making the time to do this. You got any shout outs or mentions you want to drop before we head out?
Man, honestly, shout out to you. Thank you for having me out here. I mean, it's honestly been fun. You're really squared away, dude. Very humble. I like it. I can't wait to see where your jujitsu and your online presence takes you. So that's awesome. My mentor, Marcio Laselva. I know I've dropped him a couple of times, but just I really cannot tell you enough. He's literally one of the best coaches and one of the best people that have ever walked this earth. So I got a lot of love for him. My sponsors, definitely got to thank the sponsors,
Of
Hayabusa,
course.
X Marshall. Thank you so much, and just everybody who listens and everybody who follows me. Thank you so much for supporting us and what we do. We're really trying to make some strides out here and trying to bring jujitsu to everybody, especially little guys. So trying to bring it out there. Oh, and Brizzy Brawls. I couldn't do anything without her or Marcus, my little brother. He's my filmographer. He's behind the camera, and then obviously all my guys at LaSelva MMA. I appreciate them boys. So
All right, nice. I'll be sure to drop links in the notes for your sponsors and everything, and get some tags in there for everyone. And as always, to everyone listening, thank you. I appreciate the fuck out of all of you. I really do. I might have been talking a little bit of shit this episode, but I love everyone that chimes in, that listens, that everyone has been a guest, especially. Thank you to all of you, because this show does not operate without the guests. Could you imagine me fucking doing this podcast, just me fucking talking? Like, no, it doesn't work. Like, I know I talk a fucking lot, but I can't talk without, having a guest that, kind of bounce off of. I'm a conversationalist. I'm not just a fucking guy that sits in the basement and talks to myself. So
I don't know if
thank
you're
you,
drunk enough, I'd listen.
dude. Don't
Hey,
get me started.
hold up, all the haters and the shit talkers. When you do post on or comment on the posts, I'm not saying don't do it.
Yeah,
Don't you go ahead and do it. It boosts the post.
yeah. The engagement helps.
All I'm saying is if you genuinely have a problem and you're not just shit talking like that one guy, because he was cool as hell actually after talking to him. Please, if you have any doubts, come out to the gym, come roll. Let's go. We get down with that shit. So,
I mean, there's only one way to learn. So,
hey, right.
Go figure it out. I want to give a big shout out to my fellows over at Nerd Rage Radio. Episode 400 is coming up. I don't know what I'm going to do after episode 400 because I won't be able to shout it out other than say, yo, we just dropped 400. But go check out Nerd Rage Radio, fellas. Bobby, Chris, Joe, Marilyn, Phil, Ricky Ticky, Gary. I think he's still in the equation. Raul, all you fellas, love y'all. Like, that's how I got my start in podcasting. So, if it's good, if y'all like the podcast, go think Nerd Rage. If y'all think the podcast is trash, then blame Nerd Rage too. So, either way, big shout out to Nerd Rage Radio. I'm also want to give a shout out to my other podcast, So You Like Horror. We talk about horror movies. You like scary shit sometimes. We just did an episode on Scream 6. We gave our little review on that. We enjoyed the fuck out of that movie. I still got the show notes here on my board right here. We talk about the different tropes that Scream goes over. We talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. We give a score. We enjoyed it. So go check it out. Get our thoughts on it. And also, I don't do this enough, but I don't shout out Compton Beer Club. So go check that out. That's our other podcast. I'm shouting out all the podcasts today. So go check out Compton Beer Club. It's me and my buddy Steve. We like to go and call him Thor.Bentley on Instagram if y'all want to go check that out. We review beers. We don't do it very well. That's not even the point of the show. It's not even about us reviewing beers. It's about two friends of 30 years just sitting around, just talking. We talk shit to each other. We have fun. We get drunk sometimes, and we threaten each other's lives. But it's a fun time. So go check it out. You won't be sorry unless you're sensitive and shit, because we do say some messed up things sometimes. Not to be mean. It's just we say horrible things to each other. You think that we genuinely hate each other, but we don't. We're best friends. So go check it out. But otherwise, thank you, everyone. I love you all to death. This has been an amazing ride. I want to keep rocking with it. Y'all keep listening, And we're going to keep making these shows, everyone. So thank you and goodbye.
Deep with it. Now let me sing a song.